The public order and riot squad standing guard over at least 4 people. They're lying face down on the road in handcuffs.
Dawn, Liverpool. Multiple addresses hit simultaneously. Not just residential properties, a warehouse in the city centre, a lockup in North Liverpool, a luxury flat in a postcode nobody would expect to find connected to what investigators have been building a case around for 18 months. 7 individuals detained before most of the city has had a chance to check their phones. And what officers pull out of those addresses is not incidental. It is deliberate, curated, cash in organised stacks. Watches, Rolex, Richard Mille, Patek Philippe, that do not belong to people who can produce a receipt. Designer clothing and jewellery catalogued by scene-of-crime officers with the same care a museum applies to acquisitions. And beneath all of it, the paper trail that links every luxury item to properties, houses, apartments, land, that have been frozen by court order before a single suspect has had time to call a solicitor. £22 million, frozen before breakfast, 7 nationals in custody, and a case that, when it finally reaches trial, will expose a money laundering architecture that has been operating inside Merseyside's economy, in plain sight, through legitimate-looking businesses, through property purchases, through high-value dealer networks, for years. Reason number 1. Liverpool has just produced one of the most significant asset forfeiture cases in Merseyside police history. A convicted money launderer ordered to hand over £1.1 million in watches, jewellery, artwork and cash. This is not background. This is what law enforcement in Liverpool is doing right now. And the Anthony Kaine case sets the standard for everything that follows it. Kaine, a criminal concierge, in the words of the prosecution, was the subject of Operation Bono, an investigation conducted by Merseyside Police's Proceeds of Crime unit that traced his activity back to 2018. When officers eventually searched his home, they found £254,990 in cash and 16 watches estimated at £950,000, including a single Richard Mille limited edition worth £350,000. Over £150,000 in vehicles, jewellery, artwork, and designer clothing, and court-restrained assets including several houses in the UK and abroad, land and money across multiple bank accounts. Kaine had declared no income to HMRC for years. He was living, in the prosecution's own framing, an entirely fabricated legitimate life, funded by drug traffickers whose cash he converted into luxury assets so clean on paper that they would have passed for inheritance or business success. He was jailed for 7 years in July 2024. In February 2025, Liverpool Magistrates Court ordered the forfeiture of the watches, jewellery, artwork and sculptures alone, around £900,000, on top of the cash already forfeited in January. The criminal concierge model did not end with Kaine. It merely lost one of its practitioners. Reason number 2. In 2025 alone, Merseyside Police seized £900,000 in high-value watches from criminal networks, and Operation Hen House in March 2026 produced 7 more arrests in a single week. The pattern is not isolated to one name or one operation. Merseyside Police's Operation Hen House, the 5th year of a national fraud intensification campaign, produced 7 arrests, 8 search warrants, £1.1 million in cash seized, and £100,000 in frozen bank accounts in a single enforcement period in early 2026. Officers recovered 4 Rolex watches, designer clothing worth £15,000, 26 mobile phones, 8 laptops, and 2 cryptocurrency wallets from individuals who were not supposed to own any of it. Operations at Liverpool, John Lennon Airport, and on ferry routes produced 2 further arrests for possession of offensive weapons, handling stolen goods, and immigration offences. £9,000 additional cash seized in transit. Temporary Detective Inspector John Corston of Merseyside's Economic Crime Team put the philosophy plainly. Every pound seized, every asset frozen or forfeited, is money that can no longer fuel further harm in our communities. Across the previous 4 Hen House iterations since 2022, Merseyside alone accumulated £1,584,177 in total financial interventions. The watches, the cash, the property, none of it was kept voluntarily. All of it was stripped using the Proceeds of Crime Act, the most powerful financial recovery tool British law enforcement possesses. Reason number 3. The NCA has secured an unexplained wealth order against a North of England businessman with suspected links to drug trafficking, armed robbery and firearms, with £10 million in property frozen. This is the legal mechanism that turns a raid into a long-term asset denial operation. The NCA secured what it described as the first unexplained wealth order, obtained solely on the basis of an individual's alleged involvement in serious organised crime, targeting a North of England businessman whose £10 million property portfolio, officers believe, was funded by criminal associates involved in drug trafficking, armed robberies and firearms supply. The interim freezing orders attached to that case meant the properties could not be sold, transferred or moved while the investigation continued. The owner was ordered to explain the source of the funds. Not convicted, not charged, simply required, under civil standard of proof, to account for how £10 million in property came to be registered in their name. Andy Lewis, head of asset denial at the NCA, was direct. The owner of these properties will now have to explain how they were financed. The NCA will not shy away from complex and detailed investigations against those suspected of serious crime. Graham Bigger, Director General of the National Economic Crime Centre, added that the agency would use all the powers available to us to target those we believe are trying to launder money through the property market. That is the framework inside which £22 million in frozen assets in a single Liverpool operation makes legal and operational sense. Reason number 4. Liverpool's organised crime networks run drug lines nationally, from Liverpool to Gosport, Plymouth, Cardiff, and the money flows back to Merseyside properties every time. The wealth that ends up in luxury flats and high-value watches in Liverpool does not generate itself locally. It is harvested nationally and returned. The signer OCG, 2 Liverpool brothers running heroin and crack cocaine lines from Liverpool into Gosport and Plymouth simultaneously, had 17 conspirators sentenced to a combined total of more than 85 years in prison. Couriers made regular trips collecting drug sales proceeds and transporting cash directly back to Liverpool. The OCG ran like a business, workers paid wages, managers taking their cut, and the Signer brothers presiding over a structure that moved 25 kilograms of crack cocaine and heroin through Gosport alone in 14 months. Separately, the NCA's Merseyside Organised Crime Partnership jailed a cocaine network led by Paul Lockyer, a group that dealt at least 9.9 kilograms of cocaine, making upwards of £620,000 between October 2023 and May 2025, running AI-generated promotional videos and offering Christmas discounts on Flake. Lockyer used the profits to fund private yacht holidays, designer jewellery and high-end cars. 8 defendants jailed for a combined 63 years and 8 months. The proceeds that funded Lockyer's lifestyle did not stay in drug bags. They moved through exactly the same luxury asset pipeline that makes a £22 million frozen estate comprehensible. Reason number 5. Operation Vanguard has delivered over 115 arrests, 100 kilograms of drugs seized, and 120 warrants executed across North Liverpool, with the Proceeds of Crime Act used explicitly to strip criminal assets and reinvest them into policing. The operational tempo in Merseyside is not letting up. Operation Vanguard, a sustained intelligence-led campaign targeting organised crime in North Liverpool, has delivered more than 115 arrests, seized over 30 weapons and more than 100 kilograms of Class A, B and C drugs, executed 120 warrants, and logged over 630 stop searches within its operational footprint alone. Nearly £150,000 in cash seized. Over 40 safeguarding referrals generated. A 28% increase in community intelligence submissions in 12 months. Merseyside Police's Chief Constable was explicit about the asset dimension. We are determined to ensure that crime does not pay and will seize from suspected criminals any ill-gotten gains such as cash and high-value items such as designer clothes, watches and jewellery. The Proceeds of Crime Act enables us to seize such property and reinvest the proceeds into policing and keeping people safe. This is not aspirational language. It is operational reality, applied to an area where a month-long fraud operation in October 2025 alone produced 38 arrests, an industrial-scale cannabis farm discovered in a Liverpool city centre warehouse, and account freezing orders to the value of £140,000. Reason number 6. Money laundering through property and luxury goods is a national crisis, and Liverpool sits at the convergence of drug wealth, asset conversion, and a legal framework that is finally catching up. The architecture behind any large-scale Merseyside asset freeze is not specific to Liverpool. It connects to a national money laundering economy. The NCA estimates generates at least £12 billion in criminal cash every year, and the Proceeds of Crime Act, Unexplained wealth orders, account freezing orders, and restraint orders are the legal toolkit through which that cash, once crystallised into watches, apartments, and land, is stripped back. The Crime and Policing Bill currently progressing through Parliament in 2026 includes provisions specifically designed to simplify confiscation proceedings, make it easier to establish a criminal lifestyle, and address hidden assets, recognising that the existing framework, however powerful, has not moved fast enough against the scale of the problem. So here is where Britain stands in June 2026. 7 nationals arrested in Liverpool, 22 million in cash, jewellery and luxury property frozen by court order before any of them has appeared before a judge. And Anthony Kaine, watches worth nearly £1 million stripped from a man who declared no income for years. An NCA unexplained wealth order targeting a £10 million property empire built on drug trafficking money. Operation Vanguard running continuous enforcement across North Liverpool. Operation Hen House producing 7 arrests, 4 Rolexes, and over £1 million in seized and frozen assets in a single week. And a national organised crime economy generating £12 billion in dirty cash every year, most of which does not stay in bags for long. It buys property, it buys watches, it buys the kind of postcode that, from the outside, looks entirely legitimate. The 7 people in custody are the visible end of the story. The 22 million frozen by court order is the part that matters, because the raid disrupts the network. The asset denial is what actually costs them. Subscribe to British Front Media.